Greetings once again, spacefaring adventurers. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with Eden Zero, where previously it was all about Laguna, taking on the Oresciensis Galactica member, the android Lightning Law. Naturally, it was a bit of an unfortunate matchup, since, electricity is naturally conducted through water. But Lightning Law is an android, ultimately, and get any electronic wet enough, and, So Laguna was able to meet a bit of a stalemate with Lightning Law. That was until Laguna activated his overdrive form, that essentially turned him into the looks of Juvia and the abilities of Grey Fullbuster, whipping out some ice style, and nobody likes a frozen android. Although, much like with the fight with Clown, I'm surprised that Lightning Law didn't activate his overdrive. He does have an overdrive, right? I don't know, I guess I was expecting a bit of more of an escalation of that battle. I mean, I'm glad that Laguna got such a momentous win against a very powerful opponent, but it feels like something more should have happened there. Regardless, Laguna got to show off in a fashionable sense, as always. And we also got to see that Mother is observing the proceedings going on here that might very well lead to the destruction of all of reality, or the saving of it. Zhao Mei, apparently once known as Luna in another life, also has this interest and shares it with Mother, something that I definitely took for granted, being just how in tune with the cosmos Zhao Mei actually was. Is there more to her abilities and her observations, as well as her connection with Mother? As ultimately, what does Zhao Mei being known as Luna ultimately serve? Regardless, Shiki and friends continue their battle against the forces of the Edens 1. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out, won't you? Right, Eden Zero, Chapter 264, Overdrive. Override. Still have my brain on last chapter. And we have Happy going through a haunted house? Interesting. Time of recording, Halloween is already past. Alright. We have Laguna, fresh off his defeat of Lightning Law, who now lies smoldering on the ground. Laguna's overdrive deactivates, and he staggers and then falls to the ground. Laguna, whose consciousness is slowly fading, says, "I cleaned up the mess for you, Shiki." I'm glad Laguna's efforts don't have to go underappreciated here. We then cut over to Rebecca and Shiki, with Rebecca having landed her Leo starfighter. They look beyond an open bulkhead, and the serious Shiki says, "It doesn't look like we'll be able to take the Leo starfighter any farther." Rebecca, sitting on the wing of the starfighter, says, "I can't believe you were crazy enough to try and board the Edens 1 alone." We then see that Rebecca is obviously exhausted from using her powers to save Shiki, as she's breathing heavily and sweating profusely. Shiki turns to her says the girl who used a power she's not supposed to have in this world. Rebecca smiles, saying, "I guess that makes us both crazy." Man, I do appreciate how just terrible that crack on her face looks. Like, it just straight up looks painful. Rebecca then notices something streaking across the stars outside the window. She says, "Shiki, look." He looks on silently. Oh, suddenly, Shiki intensely shudders as he looks on stunned, saying, "This ether." Seems that Rebecca feels it too, as she's in shock as well. She gets off of the wing of the starfighter, saying, "What is it? It's really giving me the creep." Shiki tells her, "It can only mean one thing. That's Void. But where is he headed?" Crap, he's no longer on the ship. Is he headed towards Mother or something else? As we see Void making his way through space. We then cut over to the Edens Zero, still surrounded by dragons, explosions going off all across it as the self-destruct timer continues to tick down, currently reaching 7 minutes, 12 seconds. Hermit continues to tap away at her holographic keyboard. Wise calls out, "The Eden Zero is going to self-destruct in 7 minutes. Do something, Hermit." She tells him, "I'm trying," but Killer chimes in saying, "You can't. My code is perfect." Again, wouldn't be the first time she's managed to overcome Killer. But as Hermit continues to tap away at her keyboard, she calls out, "I found it," with a smile. Killer is taken off guard, saying, "What?" And Wise smiles, saying, "Nice work." Hermit then tells Wise, But to stop it, we need the override key. Wise is dismayed, saying, so what is the override key? Hermit tells him, authentication from all four of the shining stars. Is this what Void's out to do? Is he gonna attack one of the stars? We see Sister in the med bay stepping on Moscow's face as Hermit calls out to Sister through the mental comms, with Sister being taken off guard. Sister tells Hermit, what the hell is going on? The door's locked. Hermit tells her, I'll give you the details later. I need authentication for the override key. Sister questions, override key? You're gonna shut down the ship? We see Happy and Pino listening in. Hermit then calls over to Valkyrie, with the still and pitched combat Valkyrie saying, yeah, I hear you. Oof. We then see Valkyrie clash once again with Brigadine, both looking resolute, but they're both sweating. Obviously, the intensity of the battle is getting to them. Valkyrie tells Hermit, but you're going to have to wait. I can't give the authentication command when I'm fighting. Speaking of Witch, we then cut over to Witch, who is also in battle against Wizard. Witch sends out a mental call saying, Witch speaking, I'm engaged in battle as well. I will need a little time. Hermit calls out, both of you, hurry. Wise then deactivates his suit, doing his best Gray impression as he's utterly naked. Hermit is very flustered, saying, what are you doing? Wise tells her, tooling my thumbs isn't my style. There's a user-friendly drive system in the hangar, right? I'm gonna pop over to the digital world and punch that guy's lights out, he says as he turns to the image of Killer on the screen. Hermit is visibly worried, and Killer, probably not knowing that he's beaten Wise before, seems unimpressed by Wise's bravado. But Wise smiles, saying, I gotta pay him back for what he did in the last world. Alright, can Wise actually do this? We then cut back over to Witch and Wizard seems to know what they're up to, saying, I see, so your strategy is to use the override key to force stop the ship. Witch then summons a massive fireball, telling him, I have no time. I won't hold back. She hurls the massive blast of fire at Wizard, and he manages to defend with his staff, but Witch doesn't miss a beat, as she's already ready to go in with another spell. She empowers her hand with lightning and strikes at Wizard, but he manages to parry that as well, and they clash. Wizard looks to her with an intense gaze, saying, we're both androids, both created by Ziggy. Why do you side with the human? Witch tells him, because Master Ziggy loved humans, and so do I. Wizard knocks back Witch, saying, the life forms known as humans must be destroyed. That is why we will destroy Mother. Witch grits her teeth, saying, Master Ziggy's and the Demon King Shiki's wish is to protect Mother. I won't let you carry out your evil scheme. But Wizard simply tells her, it's too late. Witch is shocked by this statement, as Wizard continues on, saying, Void is already on his way to Mother. So he is going directly to her. Is it that they were close enough, or he just decided to cut and run, leave nothing to chance? I'm not sure, but I think either Witch can sense Void's movement, or she sees it outside the window, as we see Void streaking through the sky, and as Witch is shocked, Wizard says Void will destroy Mother. Okay, we then cut to 20,000 years ago. And something that I said before is finally coming to fruition. I said Hermit kept talking about the imminent destruction of the planet, but every time we had seen the planet, it looked fine. But now, we cut to cities cracked, disheveled and in disarray, smoke billowing in the background, graffiti all over the place. A report comes out saying, we're seeing unusual weather around the globe. Earthquakes have caused massive subsidence. The damage from the eruption the other day has, and then another report, we're experiencing a meltdown. Jeez. And in a utterly ruined looking city, a video comes on the Jumbotron of a news reporter saying, the planet may be on the verge of destruction. Everyone, please remain calm and spend these last moments with your loved one. Really? So it got this bad? How? We then see robotic legs of Ziggy. As he says, a dying planet. I mean, it is true that the ship he was in used God, it's still so weird to say this, the remains of Rebecca to travel through time. Is it that he overshot his destination and he arrived here? Got the shining stars and the dark stars? Because they say Ziggy created them, but Did he simply pick them up with them being converted to android? And they ended up, the only one who wasn't an android was the baby Shiki, who was a child of witch and wizard. So they never got to Mother? I guess that would be the only way. We kept assuming that Mother was where Shiki came from somehow, some way. But maybe that wasn't the case. It was always time travel. Okay, so if I get this straight, 20,000 years ago, a baby was born to witch and wizard on a dying planet where one day Ziggy arrived, took the baby as well as the Shining Stars and Dark Stars who became androids aboard his ship. They traveled to another universe, arrived on Granbell. The Shining Stars were free to explore, while the Dark Stars were inside the Eden's One, which was on Granbell. Shiki was raised on Granbell, went out into the universe eventually, had a situation where he was on an exploding planet with Rebecca. It exploded where they were sent thousands of years into the future, where Shiki's body was so destroyed, he became Ziggy eventually, lost a lot of his memories over time, went back to the past as Ziggy, ended up overshooting where he was trying to go, ended up in the timeline where he ends up rescuing his baby self, jumps again, heads to Granbell with the baby Shiki, raises him a bit, eventually is corrupted by the Eden's One, and fights a version of himself that didn't get exploded into the future. That's the only way that works, I think. I mean, it makes the explanation a bit easier if Shiki never had anything to do with Mother in the first place. If Z never had anything to do with Mother in the first place. I could have sworn, though, they said he reached Mother. Oh no, I still feel like there's something I'm missing. Not to mention, with Void making his way directly to Mother, our hero's already too late because he is booking. Could they catch up to him? There's still so many questions that need to be answered. Alright, let me know your thoughts on the comment section below to this revelation that Ziggy ended up 20,000 years ago on a dying Earth. Do you think my theory is correct? Let me know your thoughts. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.